The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to a very special Scarefest TV. We have back for our guest star. It's kind of an annual thing with her. One of my favorite people in the entire world, Ms. Felissa Rose.
Oh my gosh, I love you all so much. Thank you for
and I'm trying to keep up with you here, showing a little extra real estate there. My co-host tonight, gotta get him in, Mr. Chad Harlan, one of the most talented men in podcasting.
Yeah,
I mean, he's being the best ballerina in Falmouth, Kentucky. Chad, just get over it. Okay, everybody. We do have. I got three guest announcements tonight in the paranormal field. Believe it or not. We have. I'm gonna drop an entertainer name on YouTube because they always give great photo ops. And beyond that, you just never know what's gonna happen. So, Felissa, now I'm gonna start off the interview by accusing. I want to tell you how unnerving it is for this little Kentucky boy to text a Hollywood star at 3 a.m. and get an instant reply. I'm like, okay, what it is, everybody. I had texted her that evening, and then I went to bed because, Kentucky Farm Boy here, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm in bed. She replies to me, and I get up in the middle of the night to do what 56-year-old men my age have to do in the middle of the night. And so I check my phone. So she replies, yes, I'm whatever it was. I say, great, ask her something. And I was holding her phone at the time and replies to me. I'm like, oh! So at first I started to say she's a vampire, but then I realized you're like on different time zones. So you're
yes, we are.
You're still up too late, young lady.
I was so excited when you texted and said, "Hey, do you want to do the show?" And of course, Scarefest is my all-time favorite convention. And I said it earlier. I am so thrilled to come back to see the whole family and the community. It's just amazing.
But you tease me, girl. You tease me. I would text her and say, hey, can you do a show in April? Yes.
Right. I don't even know what
I'm just looking for a Friday night commitment. So I finally got her to commit to May, and she said, well, when do you want to do it? I said, how about this Friday? So that's why, yeah. So I wanted to get that in.
And I said, you got it, Gwen. Anything you want. But I am on set. I'm filming right now a movie called Area 5150. So I'm sorry for the phone, Skype, and whatnot. But thank you again for dealing with me and having me. The last time we were doing a nuns curse.
No, last time we were sitting in our living rooms hiding from the government. Two times ago, you were on set, and that's the time when she told me she was doing a movie and would be calling me from her hotel. I'm like, okay, now this isn't going to be another instance where you're in costume and you have to go leave in the middle of the interview. But no, I've got her locked in her hotel room. Right? Is it? Can you tell me what city you're in?
I am in Palm Springs. It's a film. I would say it's The Hills Have Eyes meets Mad Max. So I play a crazy kind of desert woman, and it's a really fun character. In fact, when the director sent me the script, I said, I haven't played this yet, and it's super exciting, especially like at my age. Now I'm offered some character roles that are just incredible. And I'm really thankful for it because it's a fun crew and a fun director and just a great group of people.
For my sake, now is this one of those Felissa Rose walk-on parts, or do you have a good meaty part in this?
I think it's in the middle. You know, sometimes I'm the type of actor, if I find something exciting in the part, I'm all in. Whether it's one line or the whole script, it just has to be something meaty. And this was unique and different. And certainly, you know, I haven't created this kind of a part before, so I'm thrilled to jump on set and kind of.
I'm actually surprised because I mean, with your catalog of work. Which I'll talk about. I'm gonna throw it over to Chad because I could just hog this entire conversation, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna flip it over to Chad Harlan now. Chad,
I love you, Chad.
Evening. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So we were talking a little right before. I was looking at your IMDb. You have to be one of the busiest people in the world right now. Looking at it, there's at least 20 movies that are in post-production, 10 or 11 that are filming, and like 20 others that are in pre-production. So how has, looking at that, I think I know the answer, but how has COVID kind of affected you where you are?
You know, I've been really fortunate that it's sort of like the beginning of COVID when we were all kind of in our homes and not sure what was happening. I think I was planting the seeds so that when we finally reached this point that we could get out and make films, I was ready to jump in and work with so many great people. And they were writing and creating these movies, these independent films. And it's been wonderful. I mean, I've been so fortunate to working in the horror genre is just the greatest gift in the world, and I attribute it always back to Sleepaway Camp. Thankfully, I was a part of that movie, and now I'm able to be a part of this great group of people who make movies. And certainly, I'm ecstatic to make the films that we're making right now.
You mentioned Sleepaway Camp. Let's go back for people who haven't heard.
Sleepaway Camp.
How did you get involved in that project? I think it was one of your first credits, if not the first credit. So
it was the very first. It was the first movie I ever made. It was the first time I was ever on set. I was 13 years old and I auditioned. And Robert Hiltzik, the writer-director, and I met and had an immediate connection. And I kind of walked out telling my mom, like, I think I got this part. And she was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I got the call back and I read the script and I knew exactly what was going to happen in this movie. And fortunately, you know, I got to play Angela, and I don't know, I think that it sort of gave me an entire life.
Well, I mean, since that time, you've been largely in the horror genre. So was that something you wanted to look at, or is it just something that kind of worked out?
I think both. I think my love for the genre definitely came about after having done Sleepaway Camp. I loved special effects. I loved the whole genre really came to life for me, and I started watching a lot of horror movies. And then suddenly, when the internet came about, and there were all of these websites dedicated to Sleepaway Camp, and I was asked to do conventions, I realized, oh, people remember this movie and like this movie. And then horror directors would call and say, hey, do you want to, you know, be a part of this? We'll send you a script. And then it grew from there, and it's been just an amazing journey ever since.
Well, it's certainly quite the role to be your first. That kind of introduces you. It's a wonderful movie that I know that pretty much every horror fan is really drawn to and remembers well. So it's certainly a great way to get started in the industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
What are some of the other, really memorable roles you've had since that time? Of course, Sleepaway Camp really jumps out, but what's some others that really stand out in your memory?
Well, certainly Return to Sleepaway Camp, because so many years later I was able to reprise my role of Angela via a different character, but if you see the movie, you'll understand. And then I worked on Camp Dread with Harrison Smith, and that was a really fun film for me. And we did Zombie Killers as well. And Victor Crowley was my absolute, amazing experience with Adam Green, who I just love, and that whole cast was incredible.
Yeah, that's a great series, and that's certainly one of the highlights of that series. So
I love it. I mean, and then I actually met Kane. I think my first time was at my first Scare Fest. He and I sat next to each other, and I was terrified because I was so enamored by him, and I was certainly a fan. And I just loved the way he was with everyone. It really kind of stuck with me. You know, the fact that he was this larger than life person and actor, and he was so gracious with everyone. It was definitely exciting for me to meet him, and then to have him kill me. Spoiler alert! In Big Crowd was one of my most exciting moments.
and I know now you're doing a podcast with him too. So
Yes.
we'll touch on that in a little while. I've got several questions about that. So you talked about some of your favorite roles there. What are some of your memories from set? Is there any like really standout memories that you have from some of your roles, like Sleepaway Camp? Was there anything like kind of an outtake or something that you remember that really stands out?
It's funny because on Sleepaway Camp we were really a family. We were all teenagers having a great time together. And definitely when the boys were making fun of me in the rec hall, it was a night shoot, and I wasn't used to, obviously, I was a young kid, I was 13, staying up all through the night. I was getting silly, and I couldn't stop laughing. Moments like those always stuck with me because, they're my close friends to this day. And we think back, and it was just an amazing time, one of the best experiences in my life. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I take something from every film that I work on, like A Nun's Curse was so great. I got to work with Damien Maffei, and that was a joy. And Tommy Faircloth, who wrote and directed that, is one of my favorite people on the planet. So it's always like working with family and great people is definitely what I take away from each film that I make.
Well, my next question was going to be, what are some of your memories from the VIP parties at Scarefest? But I'll save you the Evan answer to that.
Oh my gosh, I have the best memories from Scarefest.
Right now, though, we're just a minute early, but let me go ahead and toss it to a commercial, and we'll come right back.
TellMeTarot.com. Rare tarot and oracle decks for the discerning enthusiast or collector. Our decks are not for everyone. If you are a rare deck collector, art collector, or simply fall in love with a deck, then we might be for you. Right now, get 10% off your first order just for subscribing to their newsletter. Shipping is just $5.99 in the United States. TellMeTarot.com.
Spirit Mechanics is here to help. Their background includes many different specialties across the metaphysical spectrum, including alchemy, shamanism, Celtic witchcraft, angelic magic, astral travel, and more.
With over 30 years combined experience in the group, you can be confident in their ability to help. If there is a question you have that you cannot answer, they will do their best to assist you.
Metaphysics can be intimidating, confusing, and unfortunately, abused. Spirit Mechanics takes pride in being selfless in the pursuit of helping others, being humble and honest with their clients about their questions, and lastly, maintaining a professional and personable atmosphere. They want you to feel as you are coming to a close friend, and they will do everything in their power to make you comfortable and safe.
history this week brings us the release of the supernatural horror film, The Craft, back in 1996. This film follows the life of 4 outcast teenage girls as they explore witchcraft and begin using it for their own gain. Their powers quickly become more than they can handle, and they conjure up more than they expected when things begin to take a turn for the worst. This film was a surprise box office hit and has become a cult classic with a large and loyal fan base. The film is praised for its departure from the average teen angst movie by incorporating darker themes. No doubt the film has become something of a rite of passage for young women, and in 2019, it was announced that the movie was getting a reboot, with a production beginning that year. Here's to hoping Hollywood won't destroy yet another classic.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television with our guest, special super guest, Felissa Rose. Now, going back to the whole COVID thing, now you were a little more active than some of your peers during the Armageddon that we went through. But now, when they, based on your IMDb, when they said, "Okay, everybody, go make a film," was it like a floodgate opening for you, where you do so many of these type projects, or has it still just been a trickle?
I think it was pretty wild. Like it just all of a sudden opened up, and I was from going from set to set to set. It was incredible. I think everyone also felt the urge to jump in and be together. We were all tested. We were all very, very safe. Still to this day, I mean, right now, I've been working so much on this that you have to have your COVID test. You know, we wear masks. We're filming outside. We're certainly socially distant. So people are still very, very cautious.
Does how much of an adjustment has it been for you? You rip your mask off between takes. I get that, but the whole social distancing thing on a movie set.
Well, it was pretty serious on many, especially early on, where we would have stickers, and you could only stay within so many feet between those people in your group. There were a lot of rules and regulations. It was very safe. I can't even stress enough how certainly you had to be at least 6 feet apart. And it didn't matter what the actors were, they changed the script accordingly. I think On Location was my first film, and they were incredibly amazing with sticking with all of the rules. The actors stayed far apart. You can see it in the movie.
Now, on a related topic, now you were one of the first ones out of the gate to start doing some conventions again. How surreal was it? Because I haven't been to any. I mean, I've done I did one event. Yeah, October. I've done one event in the last year. Was it? Because you're an up close personal gal. I mean, you are. So
I'm a hugger.
Right.
I'm a hugger, man. I love my friends and I love everyone in the community. So it was very difficult for me in the beginning. Very. But I try to be as safe as I can be, as well as I try to be respectful. Some people, if you don't want to go to a convention, that's certainly understandable. I felt comfortable, and I think with me as a person in my life, I try to listen to my gut and my heart, and I just try to do what I feel is reasonable and safe. So when I first started, there was a lot of distance. Now most of us are vaccinated, so it's gotten a lot better.
The one thing I was okay. Of course, now I'm not a fanboy anyway. I'm a little bit of a fanboy. But that being said, the whole thing about doing selfies at tables and with the mask on, that hit me in the gut when I said people would post pictures from conventions, and it's like, oh look, I'm here with so and so, and it's like, yeah, prove it. It could be anybody standing under that banner. Did you follow through with that? Did you keep your mask on the whole time, or did you try to, flip it sideways for the picture? Yeah, just tell me about it a little bit.
Well, again, I tried to be in the moment and certainly, figure out what made everyone comfortable. I make the Angela face, so if someone wanted that, I was certainly available, and they would stay. They had some distance,
Right.
in between us, and then I would pull it down and make the face. It was all of 2 seconds, but I have to say, everything, knock wood, went well, and we were safe, and we were good, and everybody was healthy. I want to make sure that people feel comfortable, and that's all that I care about, is that everyone else feels.
I know last year when we were talking about when we thought we could still have Scarefest, we were still like the photo ops. We were trying to figure out how to do that. It was like, okay, well, let's stand 6 foot behind on an egg cart or on a soft drink case, and, try to get the perspective. Okay, to movies now. I was so pleased to watch Cold-Blooded Killers. Because I finally found a movie that she's in from beginning to end, and does it, not to give you a great spoiler alert, but she survives. So it was just very refreshing. Now, the reason I bring up that movie is it just me, or are you getting sexier as you, for lack of a better word, age?
Okay, so could we stay together all the time?
Well, I mean, that was okay. When I interviewed you early on, that was one of the things that we actually talked about a little bit. The whole aging Hollywood actress thing, and your parts. And you brought it up earlier. You feel like your parts are more mature now. And I'm watching that, looking at your ass in them leather pants the entire time.
2 weeks.
I said, in that movie, I sat there watching your ass in those leather pants for like 90 minutes.
I did feel like there was I said it all the time on set. I was like, because Ricky Bird it wasn't meant to be like just on my ass, but certainly I felt like, hey, you guys are in these leather pants, and we were in Bakersfield, which is like 2,000 degrees, and we were in June, July, so they were sticking to me in the blood, and I would say, Ricky, is the camera like on my ass right now? But he just set up the shot so it looked, crazy. And somehow I would walk through, and I felt like, I hope it's all okay. I hope I look all right. But I did work out for that shoot, because they told me that I, would be wearing a certain outfit, and she's kind of a tough chick. I did try to create Rose to be, kind of a badass. I mean, I wanted it to be authentic. It's very far away.
It was John Wick on a budget. What are you talking about? Except, okay. Now here's, I always give you a critique of every film that you're in.
Yeah.
Okay. And it had nothing to do with you. You were fine. The first scene, I think they should have saved a little bit more of the budget for the opening scene so that they didn't have to not put bullet holes in the walls. Do you remember that?
Yes, that was
Yeah, you had.
And you know what? That scene was shot because they really wanted to have this beautiful young actress Chalet in the movie. So they opened the movie like that. And of course, we definitely have limitations with low budget, movies. But I felt like they did the best they could, and I'm very proud of the film. And
after that scene, everything else worked for me. But I got really worried when you had 3 people shooting automatic weapons in a kitchen and didn't hit a goddamn thing.
We did not do that.
But
we did not do anything. We were superheroes.
Over to you, Chad.
It's a great cast, though.
Yes, it was. The casting was awesome, and it almost felt like a Scarefest reunion because so many of them. I knew. I said, I know that guy.
A lot of great friends. Yeah.
So you talked about Victor Crowley a little. Tell us a little more about the experience filming that. I know Kane was not only Victor in that, but he was also stunt coordinator, I believe.
Yeah.
And so talk a little about, working with so many great people and then, maybe different roles than you're used to being around them in.
Oh my gosh, I just love that cast. I worked mostly with Perry Shen because I played his manager. So it was a real thrill for me because I've been such a fan of the franchise for so long that it really was a dream come true. And as cheesy as that sounds, I love Adam. I met him for the first time at Rock and Shock. And I was terrified because I'm a fangirl, and when I go to someone's table, you never know how the whole thing will play out. You kind of have it in your head, but then I was nervous, and I ran away, and he invited me on Scary Sleepover, so he and I became friends. And then when he told me he wrote the part for me, I was just over the moon thrilled. And one of my closest friends is Tiffany Shepard. And so when I found out, we were secret. At first, when we all got cast, we couldn't tell anyone. So I saw Perry somewhere, and I was like, hey, I think I'm working with you. He was like, what are you talking about? And then Tiffany and I were on the phone, and she's like, yeah, I got a part in a great movie. And I was like, well, so did I. And then we realized what it was. And I don't know, Laura Ortiz and Crystal Joy Brown, Q from Impractical Jokers, Dave Sheridan. It was just a great group of actors, really. Very, very thrilled to be a part of that ensemble.
And, I've mentioned your podcast earlier. I was listening to that and heard you all interviewing Dave Sheridan. And it sounds like such a great time that you all had on that. And until friendships there already, which always leads to a great movie when the people who are working together already have relationships and are friends in the background.
It's always great when you're working with people you love and you know well. It's sort of like you're very safe. And you can really create something amazing because you just, you can improvise and you feel comfortable. And that's what, I've worked with Tiffany so much. I've worked with Dave Sheridan so much. It's like you get into a rhythm with these people, Kane Hodder. And it's just, I'm so grateful for it because it's just a fun playground.
Right now, let's go ahead and toss it to the next commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Mama Ruby offers fun vendor-based events that focus primarily on the metaphysical and spiritual aspects of our lives. Well, 2020 didn't go as planned, to say the least. Since Mama Ruby's can't bring the vendors to you in person, they still encourage you to support them online. Links to these and other outstanding artists, craftspeople, vendors, and psychics, visit mamarubies.com and click shop.
And our first celebrity announcement for Scarefest 2021 of the evening, Mr. Dave Schrader of the Holzer Files. Of course, I'm a fanboy of his from his podcast. Which escapes me now. Darkness Radio. Darkness Radio. That's why I make the big bucks. Also, bookending him, Mr. Shane Pittman, also from the Holzer Files, scheduled for Scarefest 2021. Next up, we have Scott Tepperman, bookending our Ghost Hunters International setup. And also, he's become quite the little film director and actor in the meantime. So he's going to be premiering a film that he's on the final edits on right now. I forget the name of it, but at least I remembered his name. Also, Western Kentucky Ghostbusters are coming again this year. One of our favorite photo opportunities of the convention, Western Kentucky Ghostbusters, and they all their stuff is for charity. They support children's hospitals. So don't forget, go ahead to thescarefest.com and get those tickets, everybody. Tickets now on sale. And while you're there, you can go ahead and book your appointment to throw axes with killers. That'll be going on October 22nd. You will actually go to the axe throwing venue and throw axes in teams. Our standing champion is Steve. Anyway, everybody wants to be on Kane's team, and I already sucked last year, so I'm going to put that out there. Yeah, Steve Nappy is a reigning champion in that. Okay, this weekend, the Central Kentucky Mystical Market is going on. Starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Goes through Sunday at shuts down 5 Sunday. But I mean, it doesn't run all night. You know what I mean, people. Anyway, and guess what? I'll be doing Really Bad Tarot, both from the table, and I have a special gallery reading at 6 p.m. in a bar. What could go wrong? We are still taking a few speaker applications. The deadline is actually passed. That'll be what we talk about next week. We've got 6 more speaker announcements to make, so that's what we're going to do next week. But if you want to get in, we are still accepting applications for Scarefest 2021. Film festival entries are open. I think you got another 30 days. I don't remember when the early deadline is. Or you can save $5, $10, whatever it is to get in. But anyway, film festival entries are open. Go to thescarefest.com, click the link, or filmfreeway.com. Look us up, The Scarefest. And the Scarefest gift shop, which incidentally, I'll have a whole bunch of the Lost Year t-shirts and sweatshirts at the Mystical Market this weekend. Now back to our guest, Felissa Rose. Now, one thing we haven't put tickets on sale yet, but I understand you have agreed in principle to do it. Bowling, Scream Queen Bowling.
I can't wait. I can't wait because I love.
Do you? It's fun. The person we built it around, Linnea Quigley. I'll never go bowling, but yeah, well, I'll do it. But anyway, so is that? Now, tell me the truth. Are you like me? Do you like bowling because it's the only sport you can drink and still excel at?
Probably. I'm just a little bit competitive. I love bowling because I feel like you can just put all your energy into it and beat the other team. I love it. I've done it a lot. My mom was on a league when I was growing up, so it was quite exciting. I feel like I learned a lot.
Why aren't you just a little blue-collar mistress there? Now, I do approach bowling much differently from you. Even when I was younger, though, if I try to put any power behind it when I do it, no, it's going in the gutter. It might go in the other gutter, too, where I always down. No, I'm one of those... I don't know, we'll call it Buddhist bowlers or whatever, but I have to concentrate and go real slow and then flip the ball up the middle, and occasionally I do. But yeah, I can't. If I put any energy into it or any excitement into it, it's like 200 candy cap.
I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait to be there and to go bowling. It's awesome.
We're really excited about this new the Lexington Live venue there. Really opens up a lot of opportunities for us to do things that other conventions are not doing. I had a question from the chat room I was going to hit on. I'm going to ask you a little different. From Sherry in the chat room wants to know what your favorite movie was. I'm going to ask you, are you even allowed to have a favorite movie as an actress, or are they like kids? You can't pick your favorite kid.
I always say they're like my kids. It's so hard because you have such special experiences on each one, and I work with the same directors over and over, so I never want them to feel like their project was, less than the other one. But of course, Sleepaway Camp has to be #1 because it was the first one. It was my, it was just everything to me. But Victor Crowley certainly is up there as well.
Would if somebody, because actually this is something I actually need to start asking my guests in show prep. I never think of it till it's too late, then I feel stupid. If you wanted to tell, say, a random podcast host like myself to watch something that shows your acting ability, which one would you point them to?
Okay. Wow, that's a really great question. I did a movie called Satan's Playground. The director was Dante Tomaselli, and not a lot of people know about this film. It was made with a lot of love, a lot of passion. Ed Neal, who's the hitchhiker in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, stars in it. Ellen Sandweiss from Evil Dead plays my sister. I love this film. We made it right before, or rather, right after I made Return to Sleepaway Camp in like 2003. And not a lot of people have seen it, but I think it's a good film.
Okay, now if it was made right after Sleepaway Camp back then, okay, now how old were you when you made this movie?
Probably like 30.
Okay, then it's cool then. I have this phobia about my guests referring me to movie. I watched one for somebody, and I come to find out she was like 19 when she filmed it. I'm like, it was.
No, I wasn't. It was one of the first films I made after the whole Sleepaway Camp thing, because I went to school, but I definitely feel like it's a movie that I was very lucky that Dante wrote it for me. I think it's the only film where I'm the final girl. So it's a movie that's very near and dear to my heart, but hasn't gotten a lot of exposure.
Now, if I can keep up with my notes next time I have her on, I'll make sure that I watch that. Because now I'm going to confess, until I got involved with Scarefest, I hadn't even seen Sleepaway Camp. You're the only reason I watched that movie. When the first interview I did with you, you and he starred in it with you. Jonathan. I had never watched the movie. I don't even remember being in a drive-in when I used to go to drive-ins.
That's okay. I mean, there are a lot of people who haven't seen Sleepaway Camp. It's one of those films that kind of just fell under the radar, I think, at that time.
We've lost your video. We still have your audio. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to.
Do you see me?
No, I do. The video completely crapped out. Does it show you sending video?
Let me see. That's strange. But I'll try it again. You can't see me now?
We'll edit this in post.
It's because I'm on my phone and somebody amazing called me. And I tried to decline that.
And hit the other button.
Here I go. Hold on. No, wait. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Technical.
This is actually fairly light considering what we usually go through.
I was going to say, we've had less problems than we have most weeks. So.
I know, I'm in a hotel room in the middle of nowhere. Jeez, I don't know why it's not getting me back on.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's take an early commercial break. During the commercial break, I can actually try to call you back, and maybe when you re-answer the phone, it will throw you back into the world of video. So that's what we'll do. Everybody, we're going to take a commercial break while we get Felissa back on video for you.
Hey.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil. Most of us know that CBD is a cannabis compound that has significant medical benefits, but does not make people high. Its benefits include pain relief, anti-seizure properties, anxiety relief, fights cancer, reduces the risk of diabetes, and it is even used as a sleep aid. Blue Leaf Naturals CBD and hemp products are full-spectrum hemp extract oils. They use only hemp grown in Kentucky, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses and helping you and your family stay healthy and well. Blue Leaf Naturals, created with care from seed to shelf. Visit their website at blueleafnaturals.com. Blue Leaf Naturals, a Kentucky proud company.
Horror. Movie. Fan. 4. Life. On Facebook. Find us. 4 watch parties. 4 news. 4 meetings. 4 friends. 4 life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
Hey Scarefest, this is Joe Lewis with another review this week. This week we're going to talk about 2020's His House. Now this is a recommendation from my friend James Thomas, who's also on Bonehead Weekly. And His House is an odd little film. It's similar to a lot of things I see now where horror and race relations and socioeconomic and ethnic backgrounds are all kind of blended in together. I'm going through them right now, and when I finish that, I'm going to do a review for it. His House is about these two people who are trying to get out of the South, who have gotten out of the South Sudan. Something's war-torn. They've been through some major carnage. A lot of their friends and family have died. They're called Bold and Lyle. They made their way to England to be refugees, and they've been put into a house, and they live in this house for so many months until they, I guess, whatever rules or regulations England has, till they're able to kind of start their way to becoming citizens and work. So they're given an amount of money and they have to live there, but there's something in the house and something's followed them from the South Sudan. And we don't quite know what it is. There's holes in the walls. They start to see eyeballs and people in the walls. It has a small role from Matt Smith, or any of you people out there who are Doctor Who fans or fans of the Queen. It's written and directed by a guy named Remy Weeks. I wasn't familiar with his work. He's done a lot of short films before this, and he's very talented. It's a very good story. In fact, I was reading while he was doing researching when he was writing the screenplay that he was struck by how many immigrants were sold on coming to England because of Charles Dickens and Jane Austen and their obsessions, some people's obsessions with the royal family. And the reality is that most of these immigrants were living in gray concrete housing estates, in deprived areas and things that wouldn't look anything like what they've read or thought about. So there's a supernatural and there's a real life horror. And what we come to find out, and this is going to be a little spoiler heavy because I'm trying to explain it a little bit, is they've brought something with them, a witch doctor, if you will, a witch. And he's demanding blood, the blood of the husband. But they've also brought their sins and guilt. Not only do they have survivor's remorse, what I think is survivor's remorse, from escaping the Sudan, they've also got to this place where, not everybody wants them there. And on top of that, we come to find out that they may have done a few things that weren't good to get there. They've had to hide. They do one thing that's pretty despicable, but people are trying to survive. A lot of this is a metaphor for what they've brought with them from the horrors and tragedies that we see in other countries and sometimes in this country of what people can do to each other, right? This is a very serious review for Joe Lewis, I understand. But His House is a tough movie. It's on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, it's free or you're paying for Netflix. Should you check it out? Yeah. But is it going to be a blood splatter Jason 10? My friend Todd Farmer wrote Jason 10, always bringing up. No, it is psychological. It also has some jumps, and it can stay with you, and it's going to make you think. So His House, check it out. Try to have some empathy and realize that most of the ghosts these people brought with them. This has been Joe Lewis, Bonehead Weekly.
Welcome back, everybody. Felicia, let's talk a little bit about your podcast. I know I've mentioned it a couple times tonight. You have a podcast called Casualty Friday. Actually, a new episode, I believe, dropped today. But you do that with Tiffany Shepis and Kane Hodder. How did that come about? How did you all get together and decide you were going to do a podcast?
Well, it's funny because I worked with Joe Bob Briggs on the last drive-in. Fortunately, in fact, tonight a new episode is up. You can watch it on Shudder. And the producer, Matt Mangiarides, who's a very dear friend of mine, he came to me and said, "Oh, maybe you and some of your friends should do a podcast. Kane and Tiffany, and let's do it." The next thing you know, we're talking all sorts of craziness, happiness, shittiness, life, actors who have to deal with, just being on sets that we love, we're fearful of. It's just, I think, a mirage of everything. We definitely grab from the potpourri of life, and I always equate it to, we're mask killers, and we take the masks off and we let it all hang out.
That's a great analogy. I mean, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is how personal all of you get on there. It's really, I don't know if fans tune into it expecting just to have you all talking about movies and stuff, but you really share a part of your personal lives. And it's a great way for the fans out there to learn more about you and to hear what's going on behind the scenes. But like I said, you all really get down into your personal life on that. It's very
it's raw.
Yeah, I was gonna say entertaining, but that's not really the right word. It's something that people can connect to.
And that's, we went into it really making a promise to each other that we would have like a no holds barred, like just get in there. And we don't edit it, clearly. So much shit goes on. My dogs are barking. Kane's garage door is opening. Tiffany's, pictures are falling behind her. We're honest with each other. We fight, we laugh, we cry together, and we just try to be as honest and authentic as we can.
We talked a little bit about, the different guests and stuff you've had. We mentioned one or two, but what's some of your favorite episodes of that so far?
I certainly love all the guests we've had: Adam Green, Danielle Harris, Bill Mosley. It's been wonderful having friends, Amanda Wiss come on, and Christine, Elise, just really, really lovely speaking with our friends candidly. For me, I just really like when things are truthful. It's like in life, we're all on this crazy journey, adventure, whatever you want to call it, together. And it always means the most to me when people are speaking from their heart. That's how I like to kind of, be a part of this podcast, and anything I do, I try to make it as genuine as possible. So that's any episode that's just, like I said, raw and truthful really speaks to me and means a lot, because that's why I actually love the conventions. It's a sincere connection with people and with understanding, what makes us tick, why someone loves this particular movie. Sleepaway Camp has resonated with audiences, which is far and above beyond what I ever expected. It's touched me so dearly to speak with people, about why they enjoy the movie or laugh at the movie or find the movie interesting, from both a personal level or from just entertainment. I just think life is about our relationships and our connections, and that's all that I care about at the end of the day.
And like I said, I think that comes through, because my favorite episodes that I've heard so far, it's great when the guests are there, but when it's just the three of you talking as friends, I think that really, it resonates, and your relationships come through, and it's always So you feel like you're part of it when you're listening. So it's really enjoyable, and I appreciate that you're sharing that with us.
Thank you. Yeah, it gets, you know, there are times when we're very honest with each other. You know, we say exactly what's on our mind. Like I said, we do not edit. There is no like, oh shit, I said this, I shouldn't have. It's like, well, if I did and it's out there, it's meant to be, and I hope people appreciate it.
I think they do. Let me toss it back over to Wes right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Felissa, if you had any balls, you'd do it live. That's when the real fun happens.
That's what we've done
have you?
live. And I feel like, over during quarantine, early on, we did it live, and we loved it. I think that was actually my favorite. I love live. You know, I really don't have, people always say, oh, I'm going to, if I interview you, what are the things you won't talk about? I'm like, I'm an open book. You can ask me anything. You know me. I'll tell you anything. It's not unedited. I try to be as real as possible. What you see is what you get. So go for it, Wes.
No, I agree with you. My thing about it is, I think, of course, this might be my age speaking, but I've been doing this for like 10 years, and I started off this way. I feel sharper when I do it live. Because I know that I can't put in awkward pause and then fake it. I have to have that next thought in my head. And sometimes you don't. And I think it's a cute, endearing moment when that happens. On your calendar, between now and October, any appearances you want to go ahead and poke while we're here?
Yeah, so I will be at Days of the Dead Vegas next weekend, and I will be at Carolina Fear Fest the end of May 29th and 30th. I will be at Houston for Film Fest the end of June. I will be at Tampa Bay Screams. I will make an appearance at Mad Monster Party. I will be, I don't know, there's a few in the UK, Germany, Tennessee. I put it all on my social media. I'm fortunate that I'm producing a couple of movies that I'm really proud of. The event surrounding Peeping Tom with the incredible Hannah Thierman from VHS directing. Go female directors. And a lot of my Time's Up family will be acting in it. I have Terrifier 2 coming out that I'm so excited to be a part of, streamed by the same group, Fuzz on the Lens. They made that film. So there's good movies coming out and fun films and great conventions. And I just want to say thank you to all who have always been so loving and supportive. I could never say it enough. Like, my gratitude is just really...
I only love you, dear. Everybody, nobody. See, okay, here's the difference between you and Kane Hodder. Everybody loves Kane Hodder. But then they go, let me tell you this story where he was a real dick. No. You see, you don't have any of those stories. The worst, let me tell you what you did at the VIP party. Yeah, now that happens. But no, everybody just absolutely worships you, grab you. Now I do want to ask, okay, you mentioned Terrifier 2. I was just looking at your IMDb, all these pre-productions. How is your batting average on pre-production movies making it to the screen? I've heard that a lot of this stuff that pops up on IMDb never gets to happen for a lot of people.
I would say 100%.
Cool.
I have, yeah. Thank goodness.
Next year when I talk...
I haven't yet had a film that was on IMDb that never made production, thankfully. So, I'm happy for that.
We're going to have a buttload of stuff to talk about here in just a year or two because you got a lot of stuff scheduled. I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This
and I love Care Fest and everyone's support and love. All of the you and the convention, thank you.
You're very welcome. And just because Nicole threw it out in the chat room, they desperately want you and your co-host from the podcast to do a live show from the convention. So there, I did my job, Nicole. That's why I get the big bucks. So
we love Nicole Francis.
So everybody, this has been Scarefest TV.
And my girl Kim.
Yes. Let's throw Spillman into it. Kim Spillman, her sister from another father or whatever the hell it is she says.
She is my sister.
Sister from another mister. That's what she was trying to. That's what she said. Yeah, it's not Bob. Doesn't rhyme. Anyway, everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. We'll see you next week with more frivolity and stuff.